And speaking of moving away from risk, when you're in a submarine, it's impossible to move away from that risk. Okay, whenever I meet somebody that is in the military or former military or veteran, I don't typically say thank you for your service. I ask them, why did you join? What made you join?
My family has a pretty long history of serving the country. And my dad was in the Marines, did a full career there. My grandfather was a decorated Army surgeon in World War II, served in the Pacific. So it goes back a ways. So I was always around kind of the military and exposed to kind of military ideas and people. The idea of serving the country was pretty appealing. But frankly, in high school, there were some other factors involved too. First of all, both the Navy and the Air Force offered to pay for my college. So that was pretty appealing. And, the ability to go in and go interesting places and work, doing interesting stuff, like what the Navy offered was pretty appealing to a young kid out of high school too. And so those all combined. Interestingly enough, it's been over 30 years since I got out of the military, and I still think about experiences in the military every single day. Every day, I think about something that happened when I was in the Navy, and so really long lasting. It served me really well over the years.
And I can imagine, man. What's the craziest nuclear submarine story that you got?
Oh, I can't tell you any of the crazy. They're either too classified or too vulgar.
Yeah, and because I imagine there must be so much psychological type of test that must go on before you let somebody get that deep in the water in such a confined space. That would be the worst place to figure out that you have claustrophobia, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, luckily the submarine force is an all-volunteer force, and so nobody gets on a submarine without having volunteered to do so. So, you got to be kind of a special kind of, person that doesn't know themselves if you get on a submarine and you're claustrophobic. So that part, there's a number of things that happen before you ever show up. First of all, you got to want to be there, which, even a basic level of knowledge says you got to be okay being in tight spaces. You got to be okay with pretty high pressure situations. So before you even show up, you're put in training that's pretty high pressure, frankly. And then for officers in particular, you go through an extra round of psychological evaluations, because not only do officers have to operate and lead in a high pressure confined environment for long periods of time, officers are also responsible to the extent, if they are on board, for the safeguarding and of nuclear weapons and of state secrets. And so there's an extra level that goes on there as well.